Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nona from thealliancelover.com, and this video is an extension of my series in which I look at the expressions, the energy, and the vibe of women throughout the Kibbe body ID system. So today we're focusing on soft gamines. Now, since this is mostly about the energy that they're exuding, this is going to be less focused on their silhouettes, their physical bodies, and the way that they dress. It's more about their expressions, the way that they kind of hold themselves, and the impressions that they give off. So that being said, let's talk about the similarities that most soft gamines share. So outwardly, physically, soft gamines are yin in height, yin in their flesh, their shape, and yang with their skeleton or their frame that can be a little angular or slightly broad. Innately, according to Kibbe, soft gamines are predominantly yang with their charisma, their strength, their passion, and then they have an innate undercurrent of yin, which really shows through their youthfulness and their bubbliness. So this is going to be a recurring theme that we're going to be talking about when we look at each soft gamine woman and compare her to the expressions of other types. Before I get into it, I just want to remind you all that I like to view any body typing system, any categorical system used for style as a set of guidelines that you can, reflect on and see yourself in, and they should not be used in a very strict and confining way that takes away all of the self-reflection and all of the fun. I highly suggest stopping yourself from becoming too obsessed with figuring out how to dress like the perfect soft gamine or the perfect romantic, and just look at your own body. Look at what your body needs, the kind of lines that bring out the beauty of your physical body and the kind of details that bring out the beauty of your personality. All right, so our first example is the adorable Sally Fields. Like many soft gamines, she retains this bubbly youthfulness throughout the ages, no matter what her weight is, no matter what, style she's wearing, what, style of the decade is most accessible, no matter what the state of her skin or her hair is, she always has this adorable, smiley energy to her. And that leads us to this very important note, since many of these women share, a similar kind of range of facial patterns, and they tend to make similar expressions. What you get when you step back is kind of a signature soft gamine expression or a signature range of soft gamine looks, because when you make the same expressions and you have similar facial features that further exaggerate that expression, those are the traits that stand out. So with Sally Fields, she has these beautiful round cheeks and cheekbones, like soft chin, soft nose, and these big round eyes. So when she smiles, you really get a almost like cute, adorable chipmunk kind of smile. We say that endearingly here in the US. So for, viewers in other countries, it's a good thing. It's adorable. Now let's compare her expression to some of her co-stars from the movie Steel Magnolias. Let's start off with Dolly Parton, a verified romantic. You can watch my other video on romantic expressions if you're interested. So Dolly, like most romantics, has this look in her eyes, so dreamy. It's like ooey gooey, honey, sweetness. Any moment she can just kind of dissolve into the sunset or the mist. It's a very romantic expression, very yin, very magnetic, gentle, soft. Everything about her looks quite dreamy. Now compared to the two verified flamboyant naturals, Shirley MacLaine over here, and Julia Roberts on the other end of the spectrum somewhat, they are more young. They look more direct, more grounded, more powerful, less delicate and dreamy. Now, Sally, a soft gamine, she possesses the extremes of yin and yang. And yes, flamboyant naturals have mostly softened yang, but they still have quite a bit of yang. So what we see with Sally is a mix of that romantic dreaminess and bubbliness, but she's more effervescent looking than Dolly. Dolly's like sweet honeyed wine, and Sally is like tonic water or champagne, sparkling wine, more petite, more bubbly, with a bit more of a bite to it. Like with champagne, you know, that bite in the back of your throat if you drink it too fast. And then I would compare her look in regards to the flamboyant naturals is a lot more delicate. Her expression is a lot more young. I wouldn't say more gentle like Dolly's, but a bit more childlike. And in my opinion, many flamboyant naturals tend to have a more grounded, serene, calm energy and look to them. And with many soft gamines, there's just something bubbling under the surface more frequently and more consistently. That's why Kibbe describes their ideal style as spitfire chic. Now, our next comparison is Sally Fields with Jenna Coleman, who I think is a soft gamine. Many others think that she's a soft gamine. And if you look at them side by side, they have that same bubbly, sweet, tart kind of energy to them. Both are very, very youthful, very adorable, almost like a pixie, you know, mischievous or sometimes naughty but good intentioned little fairy. And if you look at their, you know, their smiles, you can really see how exaggerated the curve of their eyes are when they smile. It's like kind of like upside down bananas or like rainbows. You can really see the roundness and the lift of their cheeks, and then the shape of their mouth is very, very clear and defined. It's like a very lifted, petite, smiling shape. Next up is Halle Berry, super cute, especially back in the day when she wore these very animated late 80s, early 90s, typical fashion. Super cute with the cropped hair and the big bold earrings. And again, looking at her face, you see the exaggerated roundness of the cheeks, the soft, gentle nose, clear, smile, clear shape of the smile, the lift of the cheeks when she smiles especially, and those beautiful, big, expressive, bubbly eyes. So here is a photo of her in a sitcom that I don't think lasted very long, and I really don't know what types these ladies are. They're definitely not verified, but I wanted to include this because just looking at this very quickly, you will notice that Halle has that kind of spark to her, especially to her eyes, that kind of mischievous, very playful, animated, youthful, and bubbly look in her smile. Even if she's not smiling with an open mouth, even if it's a subtle smile, still has that spitfire energy. Very, very obvious. Now looking at the other women here, they have a very different aura, very different expression. I would say that this woman here is a lot more serene, looking a little bit more introspective and reflective looking, not as dynamic looking as HALLE. Here, this lady also has a little bit of mischievousness, but not as much bubbliness and youthfulness and playfulness as HALLE. And here, I think this is Gamine, and she looks very contemplative. She's just taking in more, but with HALLE, you can see kind of the gears turning in her head. Okay, so here is a picture with Halle Berry and CIARA. I think CIARA is a flamboyant natural. Jennifer Hudson, not super sure if she is like a soft dramatic or something else. I haven't really studied her as much in terms of body, but we're just looking at facial expressions here and like the energy they're exuding. And again, Halle has that kind of mischievous, playful look. It's sassy, sexy, but there's always that lightness and effervescence to it. Here with CIARA, she has, a more consistent vibe. With Gamine, you're getting yin and yang, so sweet and tart. But with CIARA, you're getting a more calm, strong, serene, more grounded kind of energy to her. And with Jennifer Hudson's look, she looks quite magnetic to me. Also, a bit dreamy and romantic, but not as, romantic as the true romantic expressions. So both Jennifer and CIARA are a lot more consistent. Their expression goes in kind of one direction. It's kind of smoother, but with HALLE, there's that little bite to it. Now, speaking of bite, I think it is a lot more obvious when HALLE stands next to Beyonce, who has such a gentle, delicate, yin expression on her face. So dreamy. And then with HALLE, you can see like her eyes are a little bit more narrowed. It looks like she's just a lot more mischievous and playful, like she's thinking a few more things at once. She's a little bit more ready to act. And then Beyonce looks a bit more reflective, a bit more gentle and languorous with her behavior and her thoughts and her movement. Next up, we have Winona Ryder, and yes, I was named after her. Again, we're seeing that mischievous, playful, spitfire look, and I just wanted to include this photo of her because you can see her body, and I think a lot of people are like, why is Winona Ryder a soft Gamine? She seems like she'd be so, long and elongated, but she does have a lot of softness to her. Through her chest, her hips, and her thighs. She has softness to her flesh, more than I think most of us realize. All right, so here we have Winona Ryder with Christina Ricci, who is a romantic. Christina Ricci is a little bit more sassy in her expressions than the other romantics, but if you just look at her face, just a lot more rounded, more delicate. If you look at like the kind of contours of her cheekbones, of her jaw, and really of her body, it's more evident. But with Winona's face, especially because she makes this kind of like playful smirk quite a bit, she tends to exaggerate the soft angularity of her cheekbones, her nose, her chin, and her jaw. And she's always doing that kind of like mischievous side glance. So in terms of vibe, of expression, Christina here, yeah, she looks a little sassier than usual. Usually she looks super dreamy, but she has that more kind of like womanly, magnetic yin energy. And then here, Winona has that soft Gamine, like snappy, internally sassy, ready to go, more dynamic, more sparky, more bubbly energy. Here we have Winona Ryder with Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth looks a lot more cohesive in her expression, even though you're only seeing her from the side, you can still get a read on her, you can still get a feel for her vibe. She seems, a lot less playful and giggly and shifty than Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder, even just this photo of her in a casual pose, she looks like, she fidgets and moves around a lot, flips her hair, touches her hair a lot, makes like a million expressions a moment, compared to Gwyneth Paltrow, who looks a lot more still, a lot more controlled with her movements and expressions. There's just a heavier weight to Gwyneth's look and mannerisms and expressions. All right, now we have Winona next to Barbara Hershey, soft natural, and Mila Kunis, a theatrical romantic. So Mila looks very foxy. She looks more seductive, especially with her eyes. And Barbara Hershey looks more soft and open and calm, but more grounded. There's a more palpable, fresh, womanly sensuality to Barbara. And then here in the middle, we have Winona, who again looks mischievous. She looks like she's sometimes up to no good, or she's going to tell you a really funny joke, or she's just noticing a million things. Just a lot more movement and, up and down animation, staccato energy to Winona, a soft Gamine, and with Barbara Hershey, just like a smoother kind of, vibe. And then with Mila Kunis, just a more consistent yin vibe that pulls you in. All right, so our last example is Reese Witherspoon. I like these two photos because even though she's just wearing black, doesn't matter. She still looks animated and bubbly. And again, she has that look. There is this energy, this liveliness in their eyes. It's almost like a forward momentum. Like they're just like waiting to step in on the scene or step into action, and also very much willing to step to the side, step back, go a million places. They're a little bit more unpredictable with what direction they're going, but that they're going to be moving around quite a bit. They're very much a vibrant breed. All right, so we have Reese Witherspoon here with Nicole Kidman, flamboyant natural. Again, just a more calm weightiness, a lovely heaviness to her, vibe, her expression. With Zoe Kravitz here, I think she's a flamboyant Gamine. She also has that Gamine kind of unpredictability, but it's less girlish, less buoyant, less bubbly than a soft Gamine, because they have a bit more yang, so they have a bit more of that directness to their look. And then another flamboyant natural, I think, Shailene Woodley. I met her in real life. She's very tall. She's quite broad. She's really sweet and really lovely. And yeah, her vibe is very grounded, active, but calm. Like she's always in movement, but it's not like sporadic or frenetic. She has like a gravity to her. Next, we have Reese Witherspoon with Jennifer Aniston, and I think you can really see how like bubbly and youthful Reese's expression is. Jennifer looks more still, more womanly, dynamic, yes, but more consistent. Jennifer Soft Naturals look more, I guess, womanly and direct and grounded. And with Soft Gamines, again, we have that kind of sweet, tart dichotomy going on at all times, but that yin undercurrent just really, really shines through. And compared to many types, they're just always going to look the most rounded, the most lifted in their expression, and the most giggly. And here we have Reese Witherspoon with Mindy Kaling. I think Mindy is a soft gamine. I think she definitely has that like mischievous, playful, youthful, bubbly, buoyant energy to her. Also very sassy. She's like champagne again, like kind of bubbly, sweet, tart kind of bite if you get a lot of it all at once. So there is my little video on, the similar vibes I'm picking up on these soft gamines. If you identify with soft gamine, it doesn't mean that you have to make the same exact expressions as women. I'm really looking for similarities because I think it's fun to see how these patterns show up. But again, these are all loose observations, and never take it too seriously, and always remember that you're unique. Unique personality, unique body, and that should always guide how you're going to present yourself and dress. So always dress for you and do it authentically, and don't try to fit into any role. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.